Officials hope a new pilot program will help treat stormwater in Hyannis. Sandy Neck staff will now have greater access to trails, and a new position will help tourists and local businesses alike. These stories and more on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Wednesday, April 1st, 2015. I'm Sarah Mannel. The Conservation Commission approves a plan to design and construct a more environmentally friendly method of treating stormwater in and around Bismore Park. The plan is part of the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency's project that will retrofit several storm drains on Cape Cod. That vote was unanimous. Sandy Neck staff will now be able to use off-road vehicles to access Trail 6. Beach Park manager Nina Coleman made the request during last night's Conservation Commission meeting.
There's been some changes to our beach in terms of the way that the beach is set up due to erosion. And there's also, as a result, some changes to where the majority of our birds are nesting. And I'd like the opportunity just to explain that. And again, the reason we're doing this request is because our orders of conditions as of right now require that we only escort cottage owners to Trail 5. And I think that was very applicable for many years because we had a lot of terns and plovers between Trails 5 and 6. But again, there has been some changes due to erosion. So I'll just take a moment and show you the aerials and try to give you the evidence, understanding that it's a dynamic system and things change, and that's why we want to have it open so that it's at the discretion of the park manager. All right, so we have aerials from 2001. You can see between Trail 5 and Trail 6, we had a wide section of beach there, a very attractive section of beach to both our plovers and our tern colonies. The 2008 aerial below, you can see that the beach has begun to erode in that location, and we have more desirable habitat to the east and the west. We have that little chunk of land, almost a fin coming out. That was very high productivity for a while. And then, of course, what we call the three fingers. That is growing at an incredibly fast rate and is very, very desirable and high productivity for our plover population and our tern colonies. Next one. This is Google Earth. I want you just to see that north finger. This is just amazing how much land we're building out on Little Neck. Again, we lost that little fin area, so you can see how dynamic this system is. So that has become less productive for terns.
After much discussion, the Conservation Commission voted unanimously to support those changes. Well, a new position will help tourists and local businesses. To get the details, Barnstable This Morning host Sarah Colvin talks with Consumer Affairs Supervisor Elizabeth Hartsgrove. We share a portion of that interview with you now.
I want to talk a little bit about Bismore Park today, and certainly a hotbed of activity during the summer, lots of traffic in and out. Of course, it's really one of the only places in town that we do have parking meters, except for that new Ocean Street lot. And so there have been some issues, some questions, some concerns going on. So talk to me a little bit about kind of what are the major issues down there at Bismore?
Well, there's a lot of attention drawn there because it is a gateway with the cruises to the islands and people being able to park there. There's restaurants. It's in a historic district. There's been a lot of attention to that area of cleaning it up and presenting it as a nice package for tourists to come visit. So at the end of 2014 season, we had a meeting between the Welcome Center, Lisi, who is Love Live Local, and Growth Management and the Parking Division. And we hashed out we just talked about some of the issues, of things that we could do to continue to improve the area, and things that the Parking Division could be able to help out with. So some of the areas that we identified as a need to improve were the actual parking attendants and their duties, and how they can be able to assist the area a little bit more for visitor use assistance.
Exactly.
So, and that's really the primary area. I mean, that's the core issue down there, is helping out the visitors, making them feel welcome, and making them feel like they can invest in Barnstable, even if it's for a short little window of time. So.
Exactly. So that's entered the creation of this new position, which is really exciting, because before, kind of moving from parking attendant to Bismore gateway greeter and parking attendant.
Yeah, yeah. This is now dating my professional history here, working experience of working with the National Park Service. When you go into a national park, you go into the visitor center, and there's all different types of rangers, and the ones that you see at the visitor centers, they're called actual fee collector / visitor use assistants. So they actually take in fees, but then they're also there to help out with answering generic questions of helping out the visitor, finding out where tours are, finding out what the rules and regulations are for camping, all that kind of stuff when you go to a national park. And that's what I saw really at Bismore, that we could utilize something that was already a well-oiled machine for the national park. We could utilize it here because it is a gateway. We have the airport, we have the trains, we have the buses, we have the boats, we have everything going and moving in this hub. And everybody's asking questions. It's not just related to Barnstable. It's very interesting because Love Live Local did they actually kept track of all the questions that were asked and did a nice little survey where people were from, where they were going, what kind of questions they were asking, and the majority of the questions didn't really necessarily revolve around Barnstable.
Right.
It revolved around just the Cape and the islands in general. And then also, more specific about Barnstable is just the core area of Hyannis and where to go eat, what to go do with your family, what kind of events were going on. So these are the things that the visitor use assistant, well actually the gateway greeter in this case for us, is going to be able to handle, answering those questions. Something that Love Live Local, even though they're in the Welcome Center, they really focus on the small business element of promoting artists and the small businesses of the Cape in general. But this is more specific to how to get to the National Seashore, or how to get onto the ferry to go over to the Vineyard, or how do you walk up to Main Street, and what restaurant is really good for their price range. Those are the questions that this gateway greeter will be able to answer.
Absolutely, and you know, there is absolutely a need for that. I know that all the shanty artists are prepped by Melissa Chartrand, our arts and culture coordinator, saying people are going to ask you questions. They're going to, and having spent some time as a shanty artist myself, I mean, there are people from all over the world, there are people from all over the country, there are people here, you know, on couples vacations, there are people who just got off the Cape Flyer from Boston, it might be their first time, so they really are looking for that information, and I love the idea of having the greeters, because they really are kind of on the front lines.
They are. They are. We are requiring them. We're actually doing this whole campaign to promote the new positions. We've actually hired Cabo Cado, who does the maps for Arts Barnstable maps. So we're keeping it all in line, and everything is uniformed. So it's going to have the same image, and they're going to be in nice bright sky blue shirts, and with our new image of Park Happy, and also the slogan of "We're here to help." And so they will be literally, it's in their job duties that they are required to actually engage with visitors, go out, talk to them, and actually create even social media types of material that we can be able to use to promote the park and to promote what types of tourists are actually coming to this park.
And to apply or learn more about that position, you can visit the town's website and click on the Employment tab. The Hyannis Main Street Waterfront Historic District Commission meets tonight at 6:30 in the Selectmen's Conference Room. We'll be sure to tune in to our hour-long news program, Barnstable This Morning, weekdays at 7 a.m. On tomorrow's show, we will chat with Glenn Cannon of the Cape Cod Commission. We'll find out what's on the agenda for this week's Town Council meeting. Plus, we'll celebrate Autism Awareness Day with a special segment featuring the Light It Up Blue campaign. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mannel.